may proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Randolph, I'm going to ask you to kind of get a little bit close to the microphone because I know that you're a little soft-spoken. Please state your full name for the record.
Rashad Randolph.
Okay, that's way, you gotta project your voice a little bit. Let me see where that microphone is. Yeah, you gotta lean the microphone and try and speak up, because if I'm having trouble hearing you, that means everybody else is gonna have trouble.
Rashad Randolph.
Much better, thank you. Ms. Randolph, what city do you live in?
Jacksonville.
How long have you lived in Jacksonville?
My whole life.
Can you say
My whole life.
your whole life? Okay. And do you know somebody by the name of Charles Jones?
Yes.
How long have you known Charles Jones?
Since 6th grade.
6th grade?
Mm-hmm.
And when you speak, I'm going to ask you to kind of to get really close to that mic because it projects your voice out. You said that you know Mr. Jones since the 6th grade, is that correct?
Yes.
Did Mr. Jones, did he like to rap?
Yes.
Did he do that even in grade school?
Yes.
Does he have a nickname now that he was an adult?
Yes.
What was his nickname?
Foolio.
Okay. And did he have, was there another part to that? Was there a name before Foolio that sometimes he also went by?
I guess Foolio.
Foolio? Okay.
Foolio regularly.
And let's go to June 22nd of 2024. Did you come down to Tampa during that weekend?
Yes.
Okay, and was that a Saturday?
I don't know.
Do you know if it was the weekend?
Yes.
Okay. Who did you come down to Tampa from Jacksonville during that weekend?
Money.
You said Monty.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a nickname for somebody by the name of Armani Turner?
Yes.
How do you know Armani Turner?
We're friends.
Friends. And how long have you been friends with Miss Armani Turner?
7 years.
7 years. Back in June of 2024, was Armani Turner, was she dating Charles Jones?
Yes.
And you said you traveled down with her, is that correct, from Jacksonville to Tampa?
Yes.
And how did you get here?
A car.
A car. Who owned that car?
Money.
Okay, so it was Armani Turner's car, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna show you what's already in evidence. States Exhibit 2E. Can you see that on your screen? And I'm gonna, let me take that out of Zoom. Do you see that vehicle, ma'am?
Yes.
And do you recognize that car?
Yes.
And whose car is that?
Money.
Armani's? Okay. And I know that you keep calling her Monty. I'm gonna formally call her Miss Turner, okay?
Okay.
But I know that that's how you know her, is that correct?
Yes.
And you came down in that vehicle with her, is that correct?
Yes.
Why did you come to Tampa that weekend with Armani Turner?
For Charles' birthday.
Okay. For Charles Jones' birthday?
Yes.
There was a celebration here in Tampa?
Yes.
And where was that celebration going to be?
At a club. I
At a
guess.
club? Okay. And where were you going to stay overnight?
A B&B.
An Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with Tampa?
No.
Did you know what the address of that Airbnb was?
No.
Was that somewhere located near Tampa?
I thought it was Tampa.
It was in Tampa, is that correct?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. So you went to an Airbnb on Saturday, is that correct?
Yes.
Was there anyone else with you in the car and Armani Turner coming from Jacksonville to Tampa?
Yes.
Who else was with you?
Trying to think of the name.
Oh, you can't remember the name? Was there another, was there a gentleman that was with you?
Yes.
Okay. And does Xavier Edwards, does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, leaving.
Sustained as to leading.
Were you familiar with all of the names of the people that were involved in at that Airbnb with you and Miss Armani Turner?
Kinda.
Had you previously given testimony in this case regarding who you were with and who you drove from Tampa with Armani Turner?
Yes.
With looking at your prior testimony, would that help refresh your recollection?
No, Xavier was with us.
So does that, okay, you do remember that the person was named Xavier?
Yes.
Okay. And so it was just the three of you coming from Jacksonville to Tampa, is that correct?
Yes.
And you said that you went to an Airbnb. Who was at the Airbnb when you arrived?
Other people, I guess people who came down there, people from there, Charles and whoever came with them.
Okay. And you said there were already people there. What time do you think that you arrived?
11:45, 11:50, something like that.
Okay.
A little before 12.
Okay. Are we talking in the
PM.
PM at night, right? So it's pretty late at night. And you said that Charles Jones was there, is that correct?
Yes.
And there were some other people from Jacksonville?
Yes.
Did you know all of the people that were there?
No.
Did you know some of the people that were there?
Yes.
Who were some of the other people that you knew who were there at the Airbnb?
Charles, Gino, Robert.
Okay. We're gonna take it one at a time. You said Charles Jones, is that correct?
Yes. Gino and Robert.
Gino and Robert. Gino Norris and Robert Howard?
Yes.
You had met all of those people before, is that correct?
Correct.
And were there other individuals there that you said that you did not know who they were?
Yes.
While you were at the Airbnb, did anything unusual, any sort of fights or any problems break out at the Airbnb?
No.
At some point, did law enforcement respond to the Airbnb?
Yes.
Why did law enforcement respond there?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. At some point, did you and everybody who was at the Airbnb have to pack up and leave out of the Airbnb?
Yes.
And did you help do that?
Yes.
And what about Ms. Turner? Did she also assist?
Yes.
And after you had packed up, what did you do at that point?
Went to the performance.
Okay, to the clubs, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you remember what the name of the clubs were?
I never knew them.
You never knew the names?
No.
Okay. Going back to the Airbnb before you left, were there people that were partying at the Airbnb?
Yes, they had already left before the police came.
Okay. So there were only a few people there when the police actually showed up, is that correct?
Yes.
During that night after you had arrived at the Airbnb, had you been drinking at all?
Yes.
And even though, how much did you have to drink, if you can tell us, if you remember?
Not that much.
So you still remember the night of that evening pretty well?
I won't forget it.
And so at that Airbnb, were there times where your friend Charles Jones, that he went on Instagram Live?
Not while I was there.
Not while you were there? Were there times during the night that you saw him go on Instagram Live?
No.
Do you remember being at a club with him?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember kind of going up to the steps with one of the clubs?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember him at that point, any time during that point of him going on Instagram?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit. When you are leaving the Airbnb and going to the clubs, who are you riding with?
Armani.
Armani. In the same car, that Hyundai that we just showed in States Exhibit 2E?
Yes.
Is there anyone with you in Armani Turner when you are leaving the Airbnb and going to the clubs?
No, it's just me and Armani in the car.
Was there, at some point, were you following anyone to get to the clubs?
We was behind Charles' car from the B&B to the first club, from the first club to the second club. We was literally, where he went, we went. He didn't go nowhere without us.
And who was driving?
Armani.
And you said that she was following Charles Jones, is that correct?
Yes.
Did she know where she was going?
No, we just followed his car.
And you said from club to club, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you know or pay attention to where those clubs were located?
I don't know the city.
And at any of the clubs that you were with that night with Charles Jones and Armani Turner, were there any issues or any problems during those two places where you were at the clubs?
No.
What happened after the clubs?
We was looking for somewhere to go.
Because the Airbnb was no longer available, is that correct?
Correct.
And so what happened? Where did you go after the last club that you were at with Miss Armani Turner and Charles Jones?
We went to a hotel.
A hotel, okay. Do you remember the name of the hotel?
No.
And so how many cars go to the hotel that are involved with Charles Jones' party?
3.
3, is that correct?
Yes.
So again, did you and Armani Turner follow Charles Jones' vehicle to a hotel?
Yes.
And you said that there was another car, is that correct?
Yes.
What happens when you get to that hotel?
We were sitting in the car, and he went in to go check on the reservations he had made while we was in the last club, and he comes out, and he called us and was like, see if we can find another hotel, because they said they gave the reservations away, and then we was looking for somewhere else to go, because somebody else called and said everything in Tampa was booked up, so they had to go back towards the B&B. And as we were doing that, we started getting shot at.
I'm going to stop you a little bit and back up a little bit. You said he went back into the hotel. Who are you referring to?
Well, Charles went to the hotel to check on the reservations he made. He came back out, got in the car, called us, and said we got to find somewhere else because they gave away the reservations. And then that's when we start hearing gunshots.
And you are still in the vehicle, the Hyundai, with Miss Armani Turner, is that correct?
Correct.
Is there anyone else in the vehicle at that time when you went from the last club to the hotel?
Robert.
Robert, are you referring to Robert Howard?
Yes.
Okay. So he was also in the vehicle with you and Armani Turner, is that correct?
Correct.
And then Charles Jones was in his vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
And I'm gonna go ahead and put 2E back on the screen. Do you also see the vehicle belonging to Charles Jones in this picture?
Yes.
And can you tell us what vehicle, where that's located in the photo?
The black Charger.
And it's right here, is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, the one that I'm pointing to that is to the left of the photograph.
Yes.
And is that the vehicle that Armani Turner was following all night?
Yes.
Okay. Prior to getting to the hotel, did you or Armani Turner or anyone with you, or you yourself see or be alerted to anyone following you?
No.
Were you paying attention or expecting any of that to happen?
No, I was out the window.
And you said at some point you were at the hotel, is that correct? And Charles Jones comes back out.
Yes.
And you're just seated in your vehicle, or I'm sorry, in Armani Turner's vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And where are you seated in the vehicle?
Either the passenger seat or in the back seat.
And you don't remember where you were seated?
No. I was in both because we were sitting for like a little minute, so I went back and forth. At the time that the gun started going off, I don't know if I was in the front or the back.
So during different rides that night, you had changed your position, is that correct?
I changed when we was sitting in front of the hotel.
Okay. And so what happened, you said you started hearing shooting, is that correct?
Correct.
What happened when you heard the shooting?
We was trying to figure out where it was coming from, and then as it got louder, we started to drive off, and then we ended up hitting the other car that was with us.
And who was driving at that point?
Monty was still driving.
And you said that she ended up hitting the other car that was with your party, is that correct?
Mhm.
Did you know who was in the other car?
I think his cousin or Charles' cousin or something.
Charles Jones' cousin, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know what his name was?
No, I don't know him.
What happened after those two cars, Armani, the car that you were in and the other car, hit each other?
We pulled off. I guess we went separate ways, and we was driving down the street, and we seen another car pull out, and we thought that was Charles' car, so we turned around, but that car kept going. So then we rode down the street and found the police officer and told them we just got shot at, and then they wasn't listening, so we got back in the car and rode off, and they started following us, and we just led them back to the hotel and drove around until we found Charles' car.
Okay. And was that the first time in states 2E where they're positioned, is that the first time after you had left the parking lot that you saw Charles Jones' vehicle again?
Yes.
And was that, and I'm gonna go to 2E, oh, hold on one second. Oh, is that where I touched you? Okay. And are these the positions that the vehicles ended up in when you came back?
Yes, we stopped right here because we seen the car and the doors open.
And when you got out of the vehicle, you said law enforcement at that point had been following you, is that correct?
Yes.
What happened when you got out of the vehicle, when you were back at that scene in front of the hotel?
They pulled guns on us and tried to arrest us for running away from them.
And were you upset at that point?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you say at that point?
We just got shot at.
So you're trying to explain what happened?
Yes.
And eventually, did law enforcement then respond into the hotel?
Yes.
Okay. And were there also law enforcement officers from the University of South Florida there?
I don't know.
Okay. Were there some law enforcement officers that stayed with you and got information from you and Ms. Turner and Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Did you see, from where you were seated, and when you got out of the vehicle, could you see into the black Dodge Charger?
When I got out the car, I could see into his car.
And what did you see, ma'am?
A person.
Did you recognize the person that was in the vehicle?
I didn't know exactly that it was him, but I did see somebody.
Could you see any sort of movement at that point?
No.
And other than that person that you saw, did you see anyone else near the vehicle at that time?
No, it was only one person.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been already into evidence 2B6.
Do I gotta watch this?
We're not gonna show all of it. I'm gonna have her stop it. I'm just gonna ask you where your vehicle is and who's in each vehicle that you are aware of, okay? Yep, stop it right there. Okay, ma'am, you see where, the black Charger is in this vehicle, in this video, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Where is Armani Turner's vehicle, the vehicle that you are in this video?
Directly behind it.
Okay. And so that is the vehicle behind the black Charger under the portico, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Where is the other vehicle that is his cousin, where is that located?
On the side of the driver's side.
Okay. And you're saying driver's side, or you're kind of pointing, is it the vehicle with the lights on that's kind of faced in the other direction, not under the portico? Ma'am, if you want to turn behind you, do you see there's a big giant video up there? Can you point out where the friend's car is?
I believe it's the car under the port that's right next to us.
Okay. Can we, hold on one second.
Because his car wasn't facing the same direction that we were facing. It was facing the opposite way.
Right. We're going to play just a portion of it. Can you fast forward it to where they're moving? Can we shut this screen off for a second? So I'm going to show you at this time stamp of 6:22. Do you see Armani Turner's car backing out?
Yes.
And is that the friend's car that crashed into her?
Yes.
Okay. Anna, do you want to shut that off? Okay. After you guys got back to the scene and were able to provide statements to law enforcement, did you see any other people that were from the original party at that scene?
Yes.
Okay. Did other people start to show up at that scene after law enforcement had arrived?
Yes.
Do you know who Aaliyah Albritton is?
No.
Okay. Had you ever met her before?
No.
And you said that there were people from Jacksonville who you were not aware of, is that correct?
Yes.
And at some point, did his mother arrive at the scene as well?
I wasn't there when she got there.
Okay, that you had already left at that point?
Yes.
Did you, when you first got back there and you saw one person in the scene, had you seen what happened to Gino Norris?
No.
Had you seen what happened to Xavier Edwards at that point?
No. When I seen them, they was coming out on a stretcher.
Okay. And that you had already been back there when the ambulance had arrived, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you recognize both of them being taken out?
Yes.
I want to ask you a little bit more about Charles Jones. You said that he was a rapper, is that correct?
Yes.
And you were aware that he does drill raps?
Yes.
Did you listen to a lot of his music?
No.
Were you aware whether or not that he was involved with a gang called Six Block?
No.
Is that something that you talked about or wanted to know about?
No, they don't have nothing to do with me.
In Jacksonville, though, are you aware that there are groups or rival groups that are opposed to one another based on the neighborhood?
Something like that.
Okay. But again, something that you don't want to get
Yeah.
involved in. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, may I have one moment?
Yes.
All right. This time we pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
Ms. Randolph, you know Kenny Caps, right?
Yes.
You know Tay-Tay, right?
No.
Are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of McCrae, Tafia McCrae?
No.
And you said you're not aware of a person by the name of Aaliyah Albritton?
Correct. Don't know her.
How about Zay or Omerta 55? You know 55?
Xavier, yes.
Okay. And for a portion of the time that you guys were in Tampa and you were going from place to place, some of those rides, Kenny Caps was with you, correct? One part of it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall which part of your trip he was with you?
Yes.
From where to where?
Leaving the second club on the way to the hotel.
Okay. And so there were two clubs you went to, right? One was a strip club.
Yes.
Do you remember the name of that club?
I never knew the name. I just said
If I were to tell you Teasers, does that ring a bell, or you just don't remember, don't know?
no, I just don't know.
Okay. And the second club, do you remember what the name of that club was?
After spot? After spot.
It was like an after, a place that doesn't open till late at night to early in the morning.
Yes.
Okay. Would the name Truth 18, does that sound familiar to you or no?
No.
So from the strip club to Truth 18, do you know who was in the Charger? And it may take you a minute to kind of think about it because of there being three cars.
No. Charles, Gino, and Xavier.
I'm sorry, Charles, Gino, and,
Xavier.
okay. And do you know who drove that Charger on that particular stretch from the strip club to the second club?
No.
I don't have anything further, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sonardi, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise, any questions?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Petridis, any questions? Okay, redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, you may.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, you are free to go. Okay, very good. All right, members of the jury, it's 12:17, so we'll go ahead and take our lunch recess. We will reconvene at 1:15. And just remember my previous instructions, don't watch, read, listen to any newscasts related to this case, talk to anybody about this case, all right? See you all at 1:15.
All rise.
So who's gonna be up next when we get
Judge,
back?
Gino Norris is gonna be next, and then after him is going to be Aaliyah Albritton, and then Kamia Bentley, and then we may have to switch, some people are longer than anticipated. I was going to have, Officer De Jesus and Nieder, but we also have Audra Agramonte and Pablo DeMore traveled here, and I'd rather ensure that they get on.
Sure.
So I'm probably gonna,
So it'll be the lay witnesses first.
yes, Judge.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so everyone knows. All right, see you guys back here at 1:15.
Court's in recess.